Everybody's asleep or what? I can't hear any sound. Hello everyone. Wonderful. Well, my name is Shubhangi, Mitra, as all of you know. And my today's topic is breaking the bias and barriers to ace in life. Well, before I start, I would like to share a small story. A poor farmer's daughter from a village got married and moved to a small town in a big joint family. It was very sharp, very intelligent, but mere 10th pass. She conceived within a year of her marriage, and her in-laws repeatedly told her that this is 100 years old tradition and the first child must be a boy. Well, the woman, knowingly or unknowingly, ended up making a statement and said, "No, not really. This time it will be a girl, my girl, the revolutionary one who will break all your centuries old traditions, and not only she will break the traditions but will do things which your boys have never done, making this family proud." Well, the innocent remark came true and I was born. Well, while I was in my mother's womb, I heard every conversation that was taking place around her, and that was for the first time I faced gender bias. Well, I was born to a middle class orthodox family with conservative values where my do's and don'ts were very clear. I grew up hearing stories of Ma Kali, Ma Lakshmi, Ma Durga, Ma Saraswati. And as a child, it always used to make me feel, one day when I'll grow up, I will have all these attributes. A superwoman with wealth, education, courage and power. But as I grew, the realities and those stories were completely different. Though the symbol of power, Ma Kali, hardly wore anything, I had to wear full-length clothes. Though the symbol of wealth and knowledge, Ma Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati, the women around me were financially dependent on their men, and my friends from village hardly had any recourse to the further opportunities. And by the time I was 14 years old, my understanding as a woman, or let's put it in a technical term, the bias and a barrier for women were, the society around me is a male-dominating society. The male is a bread earner and women are the homemakers bearing children. And if the children doesn't turn out to be good, then she is to be blamed. By nature, women are weaker than men. Financial plannings were put in place. For men, it was always in business and in education, but unfortunately, for girls, it was always about dowry and the gold. Cultured women are not supposed to raise the opinions, and me being a girl, I'm not supposed to talk to boys except cousins or brothers. I should be home before 5 o'clock. My cousin sisters who were toppers in the schools, the more focus was given on their color enhancement rather than on their education, how they should lose the weight, how their color should be flourished. It was truly disappointing. And above all, in my time, women empowerment means girl getting married in a wealthy, well-established societal status family so that she could take the family's name above. Well, I remember breaking my first bias. As my mother always used to call me revolutionary, I remember the day of my 12th grade. My parents had already made up their mind that their daughter is going to be a doctor or an engineer. But honestly speaking, I knew my reality. Maths and me never saw an eye to eye. And biology and me, we had a fight every night. And the consequences, Well, the consequences were very clear. If you are not a doctor or an engineer, your alternative career, any guesses? Yes, it was the wedding. You know what? And you should be grateful. If my would-be husband or my in-laws are merciful enough to let me study, then I had every recourse of education. But I didn't want to fall in that trap for two reasons. When I was in school, my father lost a job, and my mother, being a homemaker with three full-grown children, she struggled quite a lot. My childhood friend, who was 3 to 4 years elder to me, I used to call her Akka, got married early, had a child within a year, and her husband died in an accident, leaving her at the mercy of her parents and in-laws. It didn't turn out very well for her, and she committed suicide. So, as very young, I knew for a matter of fact, every woman should be educated and financially independent, come what may, what background they come from. So I had to break this barrier. I told my parents, I'm not getting married. They said, either marry or walk out. I chose to walk out. Just my 12th pass with no computer skills, or for that reason, any experience. I was turned away by 10 to 12 places, but finally, I could get into a small firm as a receptionist. And thankfully, the law college nearby my workplace, the principal was kind enough to take me with set payment plans. My next 5 years were secure. But when I was trying to be a courageous, I was also conscious for not doing something stupid. And this is what I call the thin lines in the life. Well, the thin lines are understanding the difference between confidence and being overconfident, having a self-love and being narcissist, being a courageous and being a stupid, being a genius and an insane, and maintaining a self-respect and being a egoistic. Well, moving further, let's look at the other aspects of bias and barriers, cultural, language, and so on. I would like to start with the language barrier. In some parts of this world, studying from the native language is still looked down upon. I studied from Marathi language, and when I was in my college, my very own teacher publicly humiliated me and bullied me for not speaking good English at that point of time. It made a very deep impact on my mind, and I did not understand. Rather, I was determined to prove that language cannot be the only aspect to be successful in this world. And not until few years ago, the same teacher called me to let me know that congratulations Shubhangi, you have been put at university's top-notch entrepreneurs list. Moving further to cultural and other biases. At the age of 22, I got married and moved to London. Well, the more competition and the more open world you go into, you need to be fully equipped to stand in that race. Well, I was definitely not. In desperation of looking for a job, I ended up working for a couple of organizations where I had to constantly prove myself. I was harassed, I was bullied for my appearance, for my being an Indian, not having a British accent. First time I encountered with the stress, at one point of time, I raised my voice for a denied promotion because the role was more meant for a man due to travel involved. Now here, I want to make my favorite point. When we talk about equal opportunities as a women, we talk about cerebral opportunities. Treat us equal. It is really heartbreaking to see every second person in this world is a woman, and even in 21st century we still have to talk about their bias and barriers. Hopefully the things will change. Well, going further, encountering with the stress, what I did, I took a step back, and today I am going to share a secret formula, which my favorite thing, I call it as a life's audit. It's not a technical one, but found by myself. So this is our life, and these are the parameters. These are my favorite parameters. Well, you can give yourself as much as ranking you want, but you have to be honest. You can make yourself happy, but that's not gonna work out really. So once you set on the parameters, work out on the weak points that, or the problems or the aspect that you want to work out on. So in the life audit, do the brainstorming, be your self-critic, be honest, understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, write down all your fears, and if you have to equip yourself with the other tools, do so. It could be education or any extra skills. Going further, look for the root causes, develop alternate solution, and most importantly, implement those solutions. Not that you have learnt everything and you have not tried it. And then measure the results. Well, with this, I did my audit. I made myself equipped with some certification courses, and then I found my dream job. All of you will be passing out in few years down the line. I was interacting with some bright students who had all the set lines of their career. But some of you do not go in desperation when looking for a job. As much as you need job, the companies also need you. Always look for the companies or organization structure. Make sure the policies are there. The continuous professional development programs have been given. Choose the organization which will give you work and a life balance. Well, moving on to further, conscious and unconscious fear or barriers. Well, as you all know, my life has been so far very dramatic. I was working fine, and then one fine day, the passion for law awoken within me. A lot of people told me it's a crazy decision leaving your well-paid job in central London. Well, central London firms are those who gives you a more weightage. I decided to be a practicing solicitor. While I was working for my dream job, I also pursued my master's from prestigious London Business School and my solicitor's professional qualification. Well, I was just a solicitor on the paper. So what do? I had my fears. Conscious barriers, which we are all known to, and unconscious one are those movies which we produce within our mind and which never get released. I worked out on all my fears through my life audit, and then finally, after 6 months of vigorous job hunting and turning away from 20 to 25 places, I ended up getting a job as an unpaid intern. But my passion, overcoming on my unconscious barrier, was so strong. All I wanted to become is a practicing solicitor, and within 2 years, with that determination, I became a partner in that law firm. So at one point of time, working for a central London based company, if only I could have sat there thinking about my barriers, today I own my law practice at the prime location in United Kingdom's London's Oxford Street. Now, well, moving further is unexpected catastrophes, calamities or barriers. So far, we all are thinking about breaking the bias and barriers to move further in life. How you do it? When your mind and your head is working hand in hand. Your brain and your mind gives you the further direction. But what happens when both of these are messed up? Well, something like this happened with me. At one fine day, when I was in India, I met with an accident, and the small brain injury made me partially paralytic, hallucinating. Somebody said I am possessed. I had lost ability to speak. I was stammering, and I had lost all the confidence in the world. When I was successful businesswoman, the 5,000 acquaintances on Facebook and all around me vanished overnight, labeling me insane. And this problem did not stay for a day, for a week, for a month, but 3 years. And perhaps mental health was bad. There was a cancer battle involved. So I was suffering both with mental health as well as cancer, and I did not want to survive the deep darkest battle. Some images may be disturbing. This was me, losing 40 kilos, having 3 painful skin grafting surgeries, and then finally life welcomed me back with the open hands. I did not understand what was the purpose of all this drama in my life. Well, only if I had given that point of a time. But I trusted the process, I cried. I had no human being to look up to, so I turned to the higher power and the Almighty. I said, I'm your child, take me or leave me, but I'm just gonna follow wherever you take me. Trust the process, and the day I decided to follow the Almighty, things changed for me. In no time, the new avenues were opened. What was my higher purpose? Before my deepest dark battles, I was just mere a woman entrepreneur and a lawyer. But after that, my new roles, my scars, these are my cancer scars. These are my scars which talks about the battles that I fought and won. Screaming, my scars were taken notice by International Beauty Pageant, making me represent breaking the myths of beauty as a Mrs. United Kingdom Universe. I went to Estonia last year and I grabbed a second runner's-up prize. Going further, thank you. So my new roles, as you all can read, wonderful people. But most importantly, I became a voice to voiceless. When I was mentally, let's say, unwell or insane, I was never a victim of my illness. It was the societal stigma that made me suffer really. So moving on to all those aspects, after my reincarnated life, I finally decided to work for people, starting my own charity foundation. And the whole new avenues have been opened. With all these wonderful roles that I have been playing, to ace in life, these are the pointers which we have discussed. Love yourself, understand your purpose, know your why. But out of this, I want to tell you one point, always remember, surround yourself with energy chargers and not with the energy drainers. Because at one time, you will do everything for them, but they will have audacity to come back saying, well, we never asked you. Most importantly, protect your mental health. With my own experience, I can tell you the heart can be replaced, the limbs can be replaced, but the brain and the mind cannot be replaced. If we call our body as the temple, then mind and brain is the God. Come what may, protect it. That is the most important aspect. And at the last, this is my legacy. This is my tombstone and my favorite. I have given myself 100 years. 1979 Shubhangi Mitra born, will die in 2079 hopefully. You know, these two dates are confirmed. These are written for everybody. But our life is this dash. This dash is every dot with your opportunities. And how you live your life is what counts. When I will die or when I will be on my deathbed, I want the angels of my achievements to dance and celebrate with me, not the ghosts of opportunities haunting me. How did I miss on it? Before closing it, this is the ECG machine. You all must have seen it. The lines up and down, they define our heartbeat. And when the line goes straight, we are declared clinically dead. The very core of our life is meant all up and down. How life can be without bias and barriers. At one point of time, my mother had blessed me saying that my revolutionary daughter will break all the records, make this family very proud. And amongst all the achievement, yes, I am the first one from my family standing right here on TEDx platform talking to all of you about my journey. Thank you.